Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Libby from maighstirtarot. We've got a week of wet days this week, horrific flooding further north, so thoughts and strength go out to all those, and we're doing what we can from further down on the south here. After a heavy week, I want to cover, the end of the week, I want to cover a few slightly lighter topics. So today I'm going to have a look at Mr. Ron Johnson. Now, if you don't know who Ron Johnson is, this is an American political reading. Ron Johnson is a Missouri senator. He's coming up for re-election in November 2022, so in the midterms. He was one of 13 or so GOP members that went to, if you cast your mind back, went to Russia on the 4th of July in 2018. Their reason for going to Moscow was very hush-hush, never really found out why. Went with 12 other GOP members. Very hush-hush, never found out why. Swanned around, fawned over by the Russian members of the Russian government, etc., oligarchs, etc., but there was no official reason. Well, there was an official reason, but it didn't stack up of where they went. And shortly after, the NRA started funneling Russian money into the US election donations for 2022. Oh, sorry, I suddenly just got extremely dizzy, which means we're onto something here. And the base of the pack, as I was just starting to shuffle, is the harsh truth. So just want to have a look to see how Mr. Johnson is going to go in the midterm elections, and is there any truth about, well, why was he there? Why was he there? And is there any truth about the Russians funneling the money through the NRA? So let's have a quick look. Easy question first, the NRA. Oh, feeling very goosebumpy and lightheaded at the moment. That indicates that we're onto something fairly important here. So I was using it as a light reading, and it might be a little bit more than a light reading. Tell me, was the NRA funneling Russian money to GOP donations? Flung out at me. And who do we have here? The King of Cups. So this is my Biden card. Base of the pack is the sword of truth, the sword of honesty, the sword of investigation. So I think these guys could be in a bit of trouble. Okay, let's have a quick look as things fall apart in Russia. The other day, Ukraine and Russia were in negotiations, or at Belarus. Now, when I say Ukraine, I'm talking about the leadership of Ukraine. When I say Russia, I'm talking about Putin and his enablers. Ukraine sent their defense minister to the talks. Russia sent their their cultural and arts minister. So, sort of explains a bit who was taking it seriously and who wasn't. Okay, tell me, was Russia funneling money through the NRA to back GOP candidates? Was Russia funneling money through the NRA to back GOP candidates? Very strong yes card. Just do a quick draw on this one. Very strong. Inevitable. It was inevitable. That was the outcome of these meetings that they had. It was all about the money, which has now stopped, interestingly enough, and the NR and the GOP are in a bit of financial strife as they are juggling it. And there will be an important message that comes out in regards to that. So here's you've got the voter, the betrayal, deception, sabotage, abuse of power from overseas in regards to the money. There is a secret to be revealed in regards to this, but it will be, which will be a new beginning. And base of the pack, we have investigation into where their money came from, wounded in battle, retreat, loss, under this investigation, loss. So that's telling me yes, but they no longer are because of the sanctions that have been put in place. But yes, and the collapse of the NRA. Okay, I want to have a quick look at what were they doing in Moscow, the GOP. Just move my notes aside slightly. Half my table is taken up with notes on regards to various topics. Right, tell me, what was the GOP doing in Moscow? What were the GOP representatives? Ron Johnson. There were other senators, I believe, that went with him. Can't name them off the top of my head, but if you're interested, it's easy to look up, and I'm sure you know. But Ron Johnson's coming up for the midterms election, so he's the one that I wanted to look at. So what was Ron Johnson and all his cronies doing in Moscow on the 4th of July 2018? What was Ron Johnson and his cronies actually doing in Moscow on the 4th of July 2018? Oh, they're now out in the cold, whatever it was. They were begging for money. Begging for money. And it was brought to them, but it has caused chaos for them, so crossed by fast movement. They were having a bit of a celebration, a party there, making alliances, getting together, circles of support in the past, feeling battled in boundaries, battle-weary in boundaries. So by the time they got to 2018, they knew things weren't going well for them and that they needed to take some sort of action. This was in the past. This is in the past. We're okay, so if we're looking at what they were doing there. So all of it is pretty much in the past, except for when we get to so this is the foundation, the overall, and then when we get to this side, this is the here and now. So they were feeling battle weary and that they had boundaries set up around them. And then you've got the infighting, the challenges, the messages that were coming out were not favourable. Their donations were dropping off, and they needed assistance. Right. Okay. Woohoo. In the immediate future, in regards to this, there is a significant ending and beginning as the king is brought completely undone, trampled underfoot, crown is off, and the truth comes forward. So, pardon me, what we're looking at here is authentic reform, very authentic reform, complete change. You've got the sun rising in the background as the king is trampled underfoot. So there will be reform to the donation systems and also to international travel for those involved in public service. External influence at the moment is that it's all stopped. It's all paused. The money is not flowing to the GOP anymore. Internal influence, they're looking wistfully overseas, waiting for their ship to come in, but it's very possible that it won't. Hopes and fears is the tower. So we've got the tower sitting right next to the death card. So this is the breaking down of old structures to rebuild anew, but this is pardon me, got a bit of a frog in my throat today. This is just total destruction, abrupt change, right next to this death card, and above a plan coming to fruition in regards to overseas. Future outcome, Four of Pentacles. This money's not flowing anymore. They're having to start pinching their pennies and counting their coins, and their life on the hog is no longer hogging for them. Difficult decision. They are at a crossroads. They are at a real crossroads. They're not getting the donations that they expected from the American people anymore, and their money from international has been cut off, and it will be a new beginning for the GOP as it is a balancing act for them. They are evolving. You've got basically two forms of the GOP working in tandem at the moment. The likes of Liz Cheney and I think is it Zimmerman, as opposed to the likes of Johnson and Jordan and Bobart, etc. So you've got the two completely opposing styles of the GOP, of the Republican Party, and they're going to have to find a balance. Let's see what the next card was. Again, even though I shuffled significantly, we've got this message coming forward. There is a hidden agenda that is going to be revealed, which will force the likes of Johnson into retreat. And it is in regards to, let me say, nothing else but, as a harsh truth comes out regarding this abuse of power, the dark money that flowed, the giving and receiving of money, it's always this money. The moon in this one almost looks like a pentacle, as murky secrets are brought to the surface and revealed. And the final decision will be down to the voter. So this is your lies, deceit, betrayal. This is your sabotage, your deception. As the voter will be exposed to all this, the lies and deception, and they're going to have to reap what they sow. On the base of the pack, believe it or not, there is some pack left. On the base of the pack, we have anxiety in regards to what's happened. This is about the government, anxiety about their roles in government in regards to what they did in the past. Okay, sometimes these cards tell a fantastic story. So yes, GOP, that's what they were over there for. They were over there begging for money, which they did get, which is now being cut off, which means they have to really reassess themselves. And I'll ask a quick question. Will the GOP tear itself apart? Now that the money has stopped flowing, the Russian support, because Putin, myself and light workers all over the world have read for a long time now, some going back even years, that this was the beginning of the end for Putin. Once Putin is gone, Trump is no longer, well, we know Trump is going to be no longer anyhow, but it is just another nail in the coffin of Trump. And once Trump is gone, a lot of these GOP senators and House members who have been rabid supporters of his don't have that anchor to hold them steady anymore, or that thing to hold on to, that rock for them to hold on to. Calling him an anchor and a rock is probably completely wrong, because he's irrational and flippant and yeah, all over the place. But a couple of cards flinging out here. So what will happen to the GOP in the near future? What will happen to the GOP once Putin is gone and Trump is no longer their crux? It's probably the crutch. Trump is no longer, Putin is gone and Trump is no longer the crux. What will happen to the GOP? Will it tear itself apart? Will it tear itself apart? So the two cards that flew out were contracts, decisions, difficult decisions to be made. This is when I was talking about Trump being the anchor, and crossed by chaos, movement forward. So I'll just pop those back in and we'll keep going. Just 4 cards, please. 4 cards. What will happen to the GOP? Will it tear itself apart when Putin and Trump are no longer? What will happen to the GOP? Woohoo! Right. Well, do I need to go any further? Yes. It is the end of the GOP as we know it. The complete and utter downfall of the GOP as we know it. Out in the cold, begging, paupers, embattled, with giving and receiving of help. Okay, so in regards to the money that they have been receiving, they're going to really have to start pinching pennies. Base of the pack. Okay, we've got the lawmakers. In regards to the money, they will be showing their strength, which will cause an inevitable ending. And then we have the infighting, as they are, as the truth is exposed. Okay. Not looking good for the GOP once these 2 events happen. Okay. And I'm told they will happen very quickly. The 2 events are intricately linked. Is the word I've been told, not a word I use particularly often, intricately. But yes, I've been told that the 2 events, Putin going, Trump going, will be almost simultaneous. Okay, Ron Johnson, tell me about Ron. For what was to be a quick reading on Ron Johnson, I went off on a bit of a tangent, which you guys know I like to do. Tell me about Ron Johnson's election in 2022. Tell me about Ron Johnson election chances in 2022 as he runs again. Don't even know if he's the Republican rep. I suppose he will be. He hasn't done anything too offensive to put off his Republican supporters. Offensive to the rest of us, but not to his supporters. So tell me about... I don't know if I need to go any further, but we will. Let's have a look at the whole story. Okay. Loss. I don't think he's... I've just asked about his election chances in 2022. I haven't asked about whether it'll be for the primaries or for the actual Senate position. Crossed by unity, crossed by the coming together, but unity. So his loss will be crossed by the unity of the message. We've got the voter at the base. Sorry about the glare on these cards. So we've got the voter at the base. In the past, he is finding himself battle weary, or he will. By the time he gets to the election, he will find himself battle weary. As we have this card of the truth, the direct truth, the encompassing truth, investigations, female investigator. Wonder if he'll go down with in the Letitia. Immediate future is the world, ending of cycles. It is the ending of cycles. External influence, the sun, full illumination, and his internal influence will be walking away. So maybe he won't be voted out. Maybe with what happens, he will simply choose to walk away and not contest. Hopes and fears is a new beginning with a powerful message. Passion. Top of the read, immediate outcome, future outcome, we have my Biden card. My Biden card, there will be an offer made and a message being brought forward in regards to the money that will be under investigation, and there will be truth brought to the fore in regards to that. So base of the pack, I've got the abuse of power. Oh gosh, these are three again. The abuse of power in regards to the money, the juggling, the infighting. So, Mr. Ron Johnson, hope I'm right. Looks like he's not going to get through. Okay, thank you for joining me. It was nice to have a little change from what has been going on. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.